Tucked away amidst the lofty peaks of the Western Ghats, the Bhadra Wildlife Sanctuary is one of India's treasured tiger reserves. The reserve spreads over an area of 572 square kilometers in Karnataka and was declared as the Jagara Valley Game Reserve in 1951. It was reconstituted as the Bhadra Wildlife Sanctuary in 1974. This magical landscape of Bhadra holds a secret hidden within. The River Tern Lodge, a short 5-hour drive from Bangalore, is a mesmerizing place. The lodge is surrounded by thick jungles of Bhadra Tiger Reserve on one side and the backwaters of Bhadra Dam on the other. And it's on these backwaters that the magic unfolds. In summers, the Bhadra backwaters witness one of the largest congregations of river terns. Thousands of these graceful birds throng the backwaters in search of a nesting place. The small islands that surface when the water levels recede provide a safe haven. The lodge offers a grandstand view to this phenomenon and is hence called the River Tern Lodge. The birds choose the same island every year. The rocky surface of the island not only provides a favorable nesting ground, but also helps camouflage the eggs and young ones. Being on an island, the birds are also relatively safe from predators. The island is chaotic with a loud cacophony of the birds. It's extremely difficult to observe behavior here, but once you start watching carefully, 1,000 stories unfold. The backwaters are rich in fish life. The local fishermen and terns are excellent at fishing, and these waters are a paradise to them. The terns mostly feed on small freshwater fish known as minnows. They are rich in nutrition, making them the terns' favorite. The speed at which the birds fish is so fast, it's hard to even notice. High-speed photography reveals the precision with which they fish. The male river terns not only fish for themselves, but also for their mates. It's now the beginning of the courting season, and the males must bring fish to the female as part of the courtship. Feeding is just the beginning of the process. Amorous courtship follows next. The female lowers her body and flutters the wings to show acceptance. The male, on the other hand, lowers his wings and lifts his head. After courting with a suitable partner, the terns prepare to mate. The mating only lasts a few seconds. Even those few seconds are not without trouble. The other males try to disrupt. All in all, it's not an easy affair. This male is still trying his luck. While some are busy courting, the others are busy taking a bath. A bath may be to keep the feathers clean or just for sheer joy. The Bhadra Tiger Reserve is also home to a variety of other birds and mammals, not to mention the abundance of plants and other life forms. named after the river Bhadra that meanders through the lush forests. The reserve is a mosaic of different habitats. Dry deciduous forests border the northern parts, while taller, moist deciduous trees frame the south. In the east, the land is covered with sholas and evergreen trees. It is these forests that are the lifeline of the Bhadra river that feeds the reservoir and in turn the surrounding towns and villages. It's now the peak of summer and the water levels have gone down further. At the Tern Island, nesting has started, clearly noticeable by the female tern sitting in one spot for long periods of time, incubating the eggs. The incubation process typically lasts for about 3 weeks and is a task shared by both parents. Nesting is the only period that the terns spend so much time on the island, but even while nesting, they fly when all the others do. Though reluctant to leave the nest unattended, the bird still takes to air. Getting back to your nest after a long time can be unsettling. This one in particular has a tough time getting used to his seat. The nest is so uncomfortable that the tern decides to dig another one. A surprisingly rare visit by a spotted deer, which has swum across the backwaters in search of fresh pastures, can mean a lot of destroyed eggs. Some of the chicks have hatched now. After days of being sheltered under the mother, out pops a little head. And another one. This one is a little bit too curious. The little furballs have just started walking, but it'll be a while before they can fly. Both the parents share responsibility. While one protects the chicks, the other brings in the food. The fish can be for the chick or the adults standing guard. The diet of a chick can be insects or small fish. It's the first day out for this thirsty chick and he's headed straight to the water. He's extremely vulnerable and a bronzeback snake has just made his entry on the island. The adult river tern warns it of danger by stopping it from going to the water, a cautionary gesture that could save its life. The bronzeback snake may not pose a threat. The eagles and kites that surround the backwaters pose a greater danger. Most chicks are lucky and do make it to the water. The terns also have other neighbours, a wagtail, a spot-billed duck and her chicks. It is now the monsoons, and the rains are here. The forests have turned green, and the water level is rising quickly. The rain, wind, and increasing water levels brings a lot of challenges to the terns. Most of the chicks have now grown up and are capable of flying and fending for themselves. But walking seems to be a bit of a hassle. With absolutely no shelter on an open island, the survival of the late hatchers is uncertain. But the always watchful parent makes sure her chicks do survive. The ones that have hatched early are old enough, and they can make it through the heavy rains. The lashing rains, coupled with increasing water levels, are the cause for the death of a lot of chicks each year. The island is almost submerged, and the terns have to quickly leave if they want to survive. As nature plays out its annual cycle, birds and animals hold on to these islands of hope in a country that moves ahead, cutting vast, pristine areas in their ever-growing need for development. Most of the terns have left the island now, only to come back next year.